Wait right there. Okay, just a moment. Before we get even things started, if you can do us a big favor right now, do this right now. Go to your YouTube channel and check us out on the YouTube page at The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. That's YouTube, and just do a search for The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS or youtube.com/The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. You can check out our Facebook page there. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. I can't believe we got 888. Where is that coming from? That's an awesome number there. So we want to thank all 888 people who have joined us. You can check out the new material, Bits of the TARDIS, which is our episodes broken down in little segments where you can digest them a little easier. And if you want to check them out later, all of our uploads, of course, the Who Knew News, which will bring you news around the WHOniverse. The first episode we did, we talked about Christopher Eccleston and his new series of Big Finish, plus all the past live streams that you can check out over there. So check it out for yourself. Go to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Shut up, Mel. Go to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Oh, that's not embarrassing, is it? You know what? Go to Legend Travel. You know what? Let's get the show started. Thank you so much.
The intro.
Cue the intro. Right, here we go. My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. So after I've finished up and messed things up, for those of you who just joined us, go to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS on the YouTube channel. Just go ahead on YouTube, do a keyword search of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We're there now. We've got Bits of the TARDIS, we've got Who Knew News, and all of our current and classic episodes there. Check us out. Get us over that 1,000 people subscription thing that people do to make things happen on the YouTube channel, and then keep watching our videos out there. You're going to love what you see out there. And plus, with the current episode that we got, we're going to be reviewing Stranded Part 1.
Yay! Woo!
We're going to be reviewing the first 2 episodes of Stranded Part 1. There's a Stranded Part 2 out there now. I didn't realize there is. I think there's a Stranded Part 2 out there.
There is a Stranded Part 2.
There is
a Stranded 1. There's Stranded 1. Stranded 2. We're doing it Stranded 1, Part 1.
Part 1 of 2 parts of the first 2 parts. This is not confusing everybody. This is a moment out there. Stranded, Big Finish. If you haven't heard it, it stars Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. It also has Tom Baker as the Curator, and many, many more people over there. And you can just see it on the screen out there. So check it out there. And we got to give you a warning. If you have not heard Stranded up to yet, spoilers, we're going to be talking about it big time. So if you hadn't had a chance, please go ahead and probably pause this. Or if you're not watching this live, go ahead and pause this. Or if you're listening to it, you can come back, whatever, and check us out on the YouTube channel. You can also check us out at Facebook.com. The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, there it is, or the Traveling TARDIS. Give us a like down there. We just I hadn't even been paying attention to the Facebook because we've been so focused on the YouTube channel. We just passed 51,000 Facebook subscribers. I'm like, well, wow. So if all you people on the Facebook channel just go and like our YouTube channel, heck, we'll be there in no time out there. Wow. It's just go ahead and hit that subscribe and hit that notification bell. YouTube.com, the Traveling TARDIS out there. And I want to thank Terry MacGyver, who reminds everybody, go hit subscribe and hit that notification bell when you get a chance. So let's go ahead and introduce everybody. Hello, Graham. How you doing there? Hello.
And hi, Terry.
Hi there, folks. And for those of you joining us in the Wizard World, welcome. Again, we're going to be reviewing Big Finishes, Stranded 1, starring Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor with Tom Baker as a curator. We're going to be reviewing the first 2 episodes, which is Lost Property and Wild Animals. And then next week we will be reviewing Must See TV and Divine Intervention. But we're going to start with these 2 episodes. Speaking of these 2 episodes there, Mackenzie, how you doing there? Tell everybody a little bit about yourself for everybody on the Wizard World channel who may not be familiar with you.
Hello,
how
everybody.
You doing, Mackenzie?
I am Mackenzie Floor. I am the author of the Rita Wan series and also the Binge Guide to Doctor Who.
And actually, you're going to be seeing that commercial later on in the series. But I'm not going to tell you when it's going to happen. It's just going to happen out there. Speaking of which, Dave Chapman from the rathole.ca. That's a Canadian thing. Oh, did you expect things to start flickering back and forth, Dave?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I never expect anything from you, Christian.
How are you doing there,
I didn't go all 4 of us sitting there as I've got my back turned trying to fix my flux.
We're live, dude. What are you fixing now?
Exploded all over my floor.
Play with me.
52 pickup. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, so, definitely be playing games later. Definitely with Worlds Apart, but we're going to explain that. How you doing there, Dave?
I'm doing fabulous. We've almost we got a fairly mild second winter right now, so we're good.
Mild. What's mild in Canada?
It is currently 9 degrees.
Oh, jeez.
Right nice, actually.
Right.
And the lovely Melanie Dean at Pieces of Melee on Instagram. Yeah, I can flip it over just like that there. How you doing there, Melanie?
He's learned how to utilize the tools of StreamYard.
I learned things.
Yes, my name is Melanie Dean. You usually see me here talking about all things Doctor Who, along with my cohorts that I love so ever dearly. But no, big thing that I do is I paint. So here's some ideas of this is what I kind of do. Right now, I am painting a huge mural in Dunedin, Florida. I am based in the Tampa Bay area. Our weather is just nice out, Fahrenheit-wise. We are, I think, around like 67, 70. So we've got our next nice little spring going on before we have our normal Floridian muggy heat.
I know we're complaining, but it was just like all of a sudden April brought us 40 and 30 degree weather, and just everybody's like, okay, speaking of everybody, there we go. And everybody in Florida is like, oh my God, I got to put socks on my sandals. I can't take this weather no more. This is not going to happen there.
Greetings, Peter from North London.
How you doing there, Peter? Welcome. You are up late. Well, thank you for joining us there. Yes. Yeah, cheers. Thank you. And now we're back to 5-hour difference. That daylight savings time throws everybody off. We were like 4-hour difference for like a week. For a week
where we get like 4 hours difference, but usually from here from the East Coast time where 3 of us are. It's 5 hours, and I believe for you, Dave, it's 6 hours between.
7. I'm 2 hours from you guys, so if it's 5 for you, it's 7 for me.
It's 7 for you to North London, or London in general, England in general.
And don't forget, we are going to be talking about Stranded 1 from Big Finish. You can do a live chat. If you are on the YouTube channel, if you're on the Facebook page, including over at Wizard World or on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS Facebook page, or on our Twitch channel, you can live chat with us, just like Peter did. Peter, in London, what was it? I didn't catch that. I'm sorry. What is it?
It's just in
London, our weather is up the spout. It tried to snow, but didn't settle there.
So little flurries that just kind of didn't quite hit the ground. I've only seen that once. When I was in New York, I saw a little wee bit of snow. Luckily, every time I've gone to London, it hasn't snowed. It's been cold, but and especially for me, cold Floridian. Yeah.
And oh my goodness, it's 11:10 p.m. there. Okay, so it'll be quick.
Yes, we will lull you to sleep. Sorry. Or not. Go get a cuppa.
And for all of our Whovian friends who had celebrated this past Sunday, if you're watching us live, happy Easter. I love that one. I do love that picture. That is not from the Traveling TARDIS, but it is posted up there. They're so happy Easter. David Tennant. Somebody had mentioned, is he going after Jessica Jones because he's in the Purple Man right now?
Purple Man.
Ooh, the Purple Man.
He's just kitted out for him, and the TARDIS are just kitted out for Easter. I figure nice purple's a nice, lovely color.
Nice purple.
Thank Tumblr.
Again, we're going to be reviewing the 2 episodes of Stranded Part 1.
Yes.
maybe doing Stranded Part 2 later on when we get a chance there. We're going to be doing the first 2 episodes. Now, for those of you who are just joining us and don't know how we do the rating scale, we came up with this really scientific, off-the-wall, off-the-chart type scale. 1 TARDIS being horribly bad, 10 TARDISes being awesome. That's how we're going to rate this episode. So whoever wants to go first, give it a shout out. Mackenzie, you're the author. You're going to go first. So we're going to be I'm going to ask you the rating of your 2 things. We're going to be discussing about the ratings later, but just tell us what you rated Lost Property and Wild Animals in that order.
Lost Property, I gave it a solid 8.
Got it an 8. Okay.
Wild Animals, I was thinking Wild Arms for a second there. I'm like, what was the title? I gave it a 7.5.
7.5. So we cut a TARDIS in half, as we normally do around here.
Yeah.
The universe implodes out there. Melanie, what did you rate Lost Property?
Lost Property, I'm similar to Mackenzie. I give it a 9.
You gave it
because
a 9? Okay.
having at first I thought we were going to see one character just in a cameo, but then hearing that delicious voice over and over and over again, and the fact that character had a huge role in this particular episode, I gave it a 9. I was just enamored, loved it.
Gotcha.
As for Wild Animals, I'm giving it an 8 because again, I'm a little biased. I liked both episodes equally. I believe just this Stranded one won an award. It's award winning, so it's an amazing piece for a 4-story arc. However, I liked one a little bit more than the other.
That's fine, and that's understandable. We'll get into the details right now. And again, for those of you just joining us, we're going to be reviewing Stranded 1. If you've not heard the big finish, finish audio play, please go ahead and turn this off or just come back a little bit later. Check out Stranded 1. Listen to all 4 episodes when you get a chance. From what I'm going to be hearing, we think it's good, but we'll find out later in the show out there. Dave!
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Lost Property.
I've got a little different. I've got it backwards from everyone, apparently.
Okay.
I give Lost Property a 7.
Give Lost Property a 7.
And Wild Animals an 8.5.
Interesting.
Okay, so
I look forward to hearing why.
I know. One's a lot more action packed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's true. There is some truth, and that might be the case, but I don't want to get into too much of the reviews out there as of yet. Oh, wait. Hi, Peter. I cheered myself up by listening to the first episode of Master. Oh, gosh. Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, that is with Chase Masterson and Eric Roberts reprising his role as the Master. I'm very, very interested in how their take is. And I'm really hoping that they will be doing an episode together with Paul McGann and Eric Roberts. That would be to finish, to at least get into the flesh of that series between those two there. Dan Hallfield, looks like I woke up from my after work nap just in time.
Yay!
Thank you. I did too. I was trying to take a nap, but I was at work, so that wasn't going to help there.
Counterproductive.
So, counterproductive. So, you know what? We'll start with the commercial break. Give us some time out there. When we return, Mackenzie, you want to start us off on your rating scale? Because, wait a minute, we go with the lowest.
You don't have a choice, but...
Yeah, I want
to... Well, Christian, you want to say yours, and then we can actually be productive and have a commercial break?
No, we're going to wait until the end, and I'm going to be doing that. But lowest score goes first, but that's going to be between Mackenzie and Dave. So, Mackenzie, we're going to start you off first. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Here we go.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomacher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find the Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com.
Bateman.
What's the Bateman?
A novel set in Florida, written by Florida author D.L. Havlin. Suspense, mystery, and murder.
Evidence is in the bait.
The Bait Man is available at local bookstores and online.
Jackie Sonnenberg's My Soul to Keep is a ghost story rooted in the realities of actual cults. When 13-year-old Sky Monroe arrives at her new boarding school, all she can think about is death and connecting with the afterlife. Soon she discovers her school's spirituality group, the Guardians of Light, and they have a secret. They can speak with the dead, and the organization is a cult. But this isn't Sky's only problem. The campus house where Sky resides is haunted, and even the ghosts have an agenda. They intend on getting the souls they want. Filled with mystery and intrigue plucked straight from the headlines, author Jackie Sonnenberg's research and attention to detail give this ghost story an even more eerie atmosphere. Find My Soul to Keep on Amazon.com today.
If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, or if you're watching us on our Twitch, our Facebook page, whether on the Wizard World page or the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, don't thank us. Thank our friends over at geekinsider.com. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell them the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS sent you. geekinsider.com.
At Geek Insider, we foster relationships with those in the geek sphere so we can give our audience the insider view of entertainment, tech, and more.
And for those of you just joining us, welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. I'm here with Mackenzie Floor. I have the lovely Melanie Dean, the lovely Dave Chapman from the roundhole.ca, and the lovely author of The Right of Wands, Mackenzie Fleur. How you guys doing there? Welcome back.
We're still here.
We're still here. And I've got this set up. Before we begin, I'm going to try. Okay, let's see. Does this work? Oh, wow.
Yes,
okay.
it does.
Let's try this out. I've got the audio set. We're going to be playing the clip. It's a minute long, yeah. We're going to be playing the clip for the trailer for Stranded 1. Hang tight. I'm going to try this. Let's go for it.
The TARDIS isn't responding at all. I really think I might not get her back.
If we're going to be stuck here a while, we might as well give the walls a lick of paint. There could be someone or something else in the house.
You feel trapped?
Yes, exactly.
You want to get out there, see the world.
And the others.
What?
Look, what do we do? We've got a murdered alien, no idea who did it, and now there's a killer on the loose.
A police box on Cameron Road. I'm old enough to remember what this was really used for.
I'm a Time Lord. I don't do up kitchens.
And if you want to check it out yourself, go to bigfinish.com. We're going to be reviewing Stranded 1 out there. We're going to start with the lovely Mackenzie Floor. Just to go over with her rating, she gave Lost Property an 8, and it dropped down with Wild Animals at 7.5. Tell us a little bit about why you rated what you did there, Mackenzie.
Well, I really liked Stranded 1 as a whole so far. There were some intricacies that just for me, it took me out of the story. I really like the mystery that was starting to build up onto what is it that everybody's seeing that it seems to be in the background, but yet some people can see it, some people can't. I like that. I loved having Tom Baker back in as the Curator and having that story, having him actually working with people and interacting with the community to seeing how his role is. I love that. The thing that I didn't like was I felt that we kind of lost the Doctor, honestly, in this series. He felt a little bit too obsessed over when he lost his TARDIS that he became a little bit narcissistic, where he just was so disconnected with everything. And that, for me, that threw me out. And I was like, I was really happy that this story mostly followed the companions because of that. Otherwise, if it had followed the Doctor, I'm not sure I would have given it as high as it did.
I'm not gonna say much of anything on my rating, but I can relate, and that's why my rating is the way it is.
You still
Are
not
you
going to
saying
tell us.
just
but-
lost? Do you want us to rate just Lost Property and talk Lost Property and then do Wild Animals? Or are we doing
Whichever's easier for you guys. You want to do? You just want
Let's
to
do
do
that.
Lost Property? Okay.
Yeah.
So you gave it a. Mackenzie gave it an 8. The next person up would be Dave. Gave it a 7. Tell us a little bit about on the Lost Property side. Why you rated it a 7? What was the 3 points that were missing there?
A lot of why is just it's the first one in this series that had a lot of things it had to develop. It's not that it was bad. I still really enjoyed it. It's a bit of a bell curve type rating there. They had to introduce an entire cast because this is a more of an ensemble type show compared to most Doctor Who things, right? And I think that was really well done. I love the new characters that are coming in. It also, because it does come, there is a continuity to Big Finish. And that's always been the biggest complaint, and they're addressing that going forward, is where do you start with Big Finish? Well, I've listened to a lot of the Eighth Doctor stuff. I really have. I have not listened to the ones immediately preceding this. So I'm like, wait, what? Like, they don't really go into how they got there.
Yeah, spoilers. There's an incident that quote unquote makes the TARDIS stranded in the previous story. So not knowing that going into this story, you're kind of at a lost schedule. Were you able to pick up on that later on, Dave? Or were
for the most part? I mean, it's I still don't have the details of it, but you just comes a point where you go, right, they're there, done.
And
just ignore it.
And let me get clarification on this, and Dave, maybe because was there when they say that the TARDIS was stranded, I don't know if that meant there was no power in it, or if it looked like from Father's Day when the Doctor walked in and was completely empty. I was trying to picture. That's what you think, Mel? That it was completely empty.
Well, no, because at the very beginning they opened the box. When
That's right.
It was with Helen. I think it was Helen, or I can't remember if it was Helen or Liv. I think it might have been Helen, and interacts with the curator, and they open it, and they're like, "Oh, well, I thought it was kind of cute how it's like, oh, it's just an empty box now, and people are just putting books in it and using it now as a free library," which I think is very 2020 to do. And at one point, the Eighth Doctor does say that she's retreated into herself. So she's completely, they barely made it out of the console room.
Right.
So she's.
Yeah, exactly. They're there. So what else did you think about it, Dave? What else sparked in your mind there?
I really do like, this is a different spin on the Third Doctor story. Remember, he kind of was forced to be stranded on Earth for a while.
You mean the Eighth Doctor? I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
Right. John Pertwee, that the whole point was, no, he's on Earth. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
The TARDIS was still there. The TARDIS was still, yeah, exactly. I actually really, really, really hope we get a new Bessie.
Oh, could you imagine she gets a car? Like, please have a car.
Yeah, that exactly. Bessie 2, sports car. Do the Bumblebee thing, from brand new Camaro or something.
Some other car just hanging Transformer. There's an MG just lying around somewhere in storage. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
She's got in mothballs. I remember when she made her comeback in Battlefield, and everybody was geeking out about that. It was Bessie came back for the Seventh Doctor, and she started roaming around out there. And hello, Morton.
Hello, Morton.
There? Morton, our friend from Worlds Apart. You're going to be seeing their ad and just somewhere along the way during the show out there. Peter Thomas, I'm so behind because I'm looking at my 90-year-old mom. Yes. Never mind, when she's gone, I'll have my free. Oh, okay. Well,
there's that dichotomy when you're a caregiver. It's there's the circle of life there, but no, I absolutely understand when it's a 24-hour, 7-day a week job being a caregiver.
No, I lost my dad a couple years ago, and my mother ended up being laid off, and she became his caregiver. No, and because my mother had a car accident that which really messed her up big time, I had to come in and help out every night. And so, yeah, I don't. You hate to use that word freedom, but when he passed, it was like, yeah, there was the responsibility was gone, and I don't want anybody to think, my dad was a burden. He was family.
It's a complex situation, and people who've been through that caregiving have done that. I did that when I was 18, 16 to 18 with my father when he had cancer. So a lot of my college, high school, I absolutely understand that it's a very complex situation, but bless you for getting in there and helping her.
Yeah, and I'm hoping. Oh, Carl.
There's Carl. That was him just seeing the trailer. So
yes, yeah,
it's amazing.
I was very interested in the trailer. I like the little scribbly trailer.
I love the design.
Yeah.
Got it. Speaking of scribbly, Melanie, you gave it a 9.
That's better than most. That's better than most segues for at least an artist.
Hey, I at least know where the start button is. Melanie, you gave it a 9.
Good Lord. I gave it a 9 because I thought this was absolutely amazing because ever since the 50th anniversary, I have been a huge fan of the Curator. I wanted to know more about the Curator. There was like little bits and pieces of asides that he said during his but you saw on screen between the Curator and the 11th Doctor of the just the more familiar faces. So you're kind of in that, is he the Doctor, is he not the Doctor? And to me, Big Finish really did a little bit more of that kind of play where he didn't say, there's so many just asides of the, yes, he knows what the box is. I remember what the box used to be for. And at one point when him and I want to say it's Helen, but I could be wrong, it might have been Liv, at the beginning he runs into a companion, and Liv and Helen are the companions for the 8th Doctor in this story. So he runs into one of them, they see the box, and just kind of, he's like, oh yeah, I'm a bit of an art curator, because she was like, what's your interest in it? And she's trying to keep everything under the cuff, not saying why are you looking at a spaceship, you need to be gone. And he's kind of playing it along of, oh no, I'm a bit of an art curator, and at some and you get these throughout the story of him saying with, oh no, I don't want one, I already have one. And then him going in regards to, it's empty, they can't get into the TARDIS, people are kind of using it as a free library, which is again something very, very, very grounded in 2020, where if you have an empty spot, just throw books in there, and people are borrowing books. And he's like, oh, it makes sense for that, because this old box has always been filled with stories. And I just was like, I love that part too. But there's different parts where he walks away and he says goodbye to bye Helen, bye Liv, and then after the fact they're like, how did he know our names? Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, it must have the fob it off of, oh, he must have heard it. But he comes in a lot of different times, and he ends up talking to one of the alien shopkeepers that plays a very interesting role in this particular story, with the item of lost that a piece of lost property has to be used to figure out what the heck this thing is. Mm-hmm. And he even says that he needs to tread carefully on what he's doing because he doesn't want to cause a paradox and blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot more breadcrumbs here to say that this is a Doctor. And in my head canon, that I pray and hope, let it be real, that in how many billion freaking Doctors we have until the end of time, this Curator is the last one. Forever. He is going to be Omega always. This put him here, and we're just going to keep adding Doctors, number 14, 15, 16, 17, 28, 78, 99. He's always going to be that one. But yeah, this I love this.
So he's going to be infinity plus 1.
Yes.
Down out there.
On top of all the amazing things with the Curator, with the story, I thought it was well written in that, yes, I kind of just assumed something must have happened where he doesn't have his sonic screwdriver. He doesn't have, they barely got out of the TARDIS, not alive, but in time. So there was a lot of stuff where they kind of mentioned something else must have just happened. And knowing that, hey, I'm listening to Big Finish, I guess I'm going to have to go back and figure out which one kind of butt up against this. It is an ensemble cast. I thought the way that they introduced them was very smart. With the Doctor had a flat in London on Baker Street, not 221, which was one thing when it comes to the characters. One lady is from, I want to say she's from the 60s, 70s-ish. So everything is just new and fantastic and amazing for London. The whole something's changed, something stay the same. So it's neat seeing fresh eyes what she thinks, but then the other woman's she's an alien, she's from a completely different era, she's from a different world, she's well into the future, so it's kind of neat to see things through their eyes as well. So I gave this a 9 because I thought, yes, it was a lot of world building, but going to this house, finding out, it's flats now, so now you have more characters built in. I thought it was great, and it had little funny bits too of who was the person who stole the lost property.
Yeah. Well, I keep on, I keep on thinking
console.
that the Curator is now a device like Back to the Future 2 was. Like he's going and he almost like he knows what's going on, but he's not being part of the events. He's just like kind of like the Michael J. Fox's go, I need to make sure this happens, because you keep on hearing that he's leading on that things are going to happen, but this is the point where something has to happen. He's just, no, I'm just going to be here. But I think he's also having fun too.
Oh, absolutely.
He's looking at past.
I mean, him buying their coffee at one point, because he knows they have no money right now. The whole part, the beginning of it is Liv and Helen selling things that was in the Eighth Doctor's coat, just to be like, we need money, because we're stranded here. What do? We don't have licenses. They don't have credit cards. They didn't have anything. So it's kind of an interesting little. Right. What do you do? What do you do when you're stranded? You have nothing.
Dave, I hearken back to the episode of The Impossible Planet where the Doctor loses his TARDIS and Rose sits there on the table, and it's the 10th Doctor and Rose, and goes, you're going to have to get a mortgage. Now he's got it.
And he doesn't I have a mortgage. She's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if somebody wants to put it in the chats out there, I think in the Dark Eyes series, he also has a flat there too. If I'm not mistaken, I was trying to connect the two, but Dark Eyes is such a long series, just like Stranded. I didn't have a time to look back there, but I could have sworn he had a flat as well. Speaking of flats,
he probably has a dozen of them.
I'm sure he's got places. I'm sure he's got hookups just in case this happens. But speaking of this happening, we're going to go to the commercial break. When we return, we're going to continue more talking, and we're going to talk more about wild animals when we return for Stranded 1. Please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and become part of the.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hanging Out Club Show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellis Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellis Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellis Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embelliseffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
Nisha, I'm coming to get you. I'm going to get a little surprise for you. And for those of you who are just who are interested in our last little bit sponsor over there, check them out at Doctor Who Worlds Apart. That's Doctor Who Worlds Apart. You can get their virtual cards. And gosh, Dave, they got a new series out, if I'm not mistaken. They got a new set of cards, if I'm not mistaken. There. Oh, okay.
That's obviously not one of those cards,
right?
There's your Curator card for Flux.
Oh, okay.
Always the future Doctor.
Always.
The future Doctor. This card counts as the highest number Doctor in play, no matter what it is.
That's to me as a Curator.
Dr. 1 billion out there. So check them out over at DoctorWho-WorldsApart.com. We will be playing this game as soon as it goes live in their beta test, and we're going to be testing it out there. Morton, we can't wait to get started out there. Again, for those of you just joining us, if you get a chance, go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe now, and hit that notification button. Bell, youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, or you can do a keyword search and find us out there. We want to thank you for joining us here at The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Don't forget the chat. We're doing the live chat right now, like you can see Dan at the bottom out there. Dan says, I'm always imagine the Doctor has a bank account somewhere for emergencies on Earth.
Where did his unit checks go? Did he, because I mean, he got paid by unit when he was.
He got services, like he got to use
damn it,
Joe Grant, and I can't think why Caroline.
Well, you know what? Hopefully, maybe future doctors, maybe post like 9 and so forth, have money somewhere because they learned the mistakes and the folly of 8.
Ace took a bit of money from took money from him and made a little charitable Earth out.
Oh boy!
Endeavor.
Oh boy, Morton!
Oh boy!
Oh boy! Next comment.
I'm gonna get Nisha whatever that legendary card system that she got out there. Can't wait to show you what we have been working on since last time. For those of you listening on the podcast, this is Morton from Worlds Apart. Can't wait to show you what we've been working on since last time.
Yeah, be like Mackenzie and just go to the marketplace and start buying cards.
I know.
That's late, by the way.
I just got paid, and I heard you just drop some new cards down. So
the moment we were going live is when the new set dropped.
Yeah.
Exactly as we went
exactly
live.
at the moment. Okay.
And I had to brag because I'm like, I got a legendary card off the marketplace for $15.
Woohoo! Unbelievable. And speaking of which, if you want to be joining our family of sponsors, advertise with us. Just write Sage at hangingwithshow.com or Christian at hangingwithshow.com. It's spelled HANGIN with show.com. We'll send you out the rates and everything to take care of the show, because our advertisers take care of us and we take care of them as best we can out there. Dan says exactly. Besides the lab, he needs lunch money. From what I understand, in the Third Doctor series, when he was helping out Unit, he was getting like all the supplies that he was getting to repair his TARDIS. So they were giving him all this equipment, especially when he was working for them hunting down monsters. So I think he got that in reciprocal. I think, if that's a better term for it. There, he got that in exchange.
He forgets things.
Who
knows? I mean, he had the wherewithal to know to get a house. I mean,
I'm sure he had some place to stay. Well, was he staying in the TARDIS? Yeah, I guess he was.
It was still a TARDIS. Like, it still exists.
It was still a TARDIS. So he stayed there.
He was grounded.
Except for that one time in Inferno where it was just the console, and I guess something happened to the real TARDIS at one point, so they had the console in the room. I remember that. Speaking of which, we're going back over here and reviewing Part 1, Stranded 1, Part 1 of the first 2 parts of Stranded. We're going to be talking about wild animals, and the lowest score gets to go first. That would be a tie between Dave. Well, actually, it's just Dave. Sorry, Dave. We're going to start with you. You rated it a 7. Tell us a little bit about why you rated Wild Animals, the second part.
See, that's I was kind of confused because you actually recorded it backwards. I rated the other one 7.
Yeah.
I said 8.5.
My bad.
I was very confused when you said it was them going first.
Actually, let me go backwards. It's Mackenzie. I'm sorry, I was reading something else. Mackenzie, you rated 7.5 TARDISes. You blew up one. Sorry.
Yeah. In this case, I'd actually like to hear your version, Christian, because you said you agreed with me.
It's coming. It's coming. But Mackenzie, you rated it you rated 7.5. Well, why?
Get a girl.
Well, it's pretty much the same thing as I said before, having to do with a lot of it having to do with the Doctor being just not the Doctor. Just did not feel to me like the Doctor. I loved all the action that was going on there, the suspense. You could see that the writing was being elevated, that things were becoming more suspenseful. We were more wanting to go diving into this show, figuring out what's going on and all that. But then we have the Doctor that just seems very disconnected because he's obsessed with getting this TARDIS that is dead on arrival, I guess you could say a bit in this particular episode.
Gotcha there. So it was still kind of we just you know what the problem is, if I say something I'm going to give my stuff away there. So I'm not going to say that. Next up is Melanie. You rated it an 8. Kind of a drop down from the first
I dropped it down for this particular story. Now remember, this Stranded 1 is 4 different stories. We are just reviewing it 2 and 2. So it's like an hour and a half. That's why we're doing part 1, part 2 of Stranded 1. For comparing this story to the first one, I like the first one because I thought it was a stronger ensemble cast. Again, my love for the Curator knows no bounds. This one I dropped down because you're not going to see I didn't see the Curator, but the Doctor was a little bit different in here, and that he felt like a wounded animal in the very beginning. So again, big spoiler here. So if you haven't watched it or listened to it, and you're not going to listen to it for a while, or you're okay with the spoiler, stop right now. The beginning of this one, I believe it's Liv goes and gets a job because remember they need money. She gets a job. She's able to get a job from the sisters that live in the flat with them, and in the flats of the house. The sisters are able to get a job at a convenience store. For the sister's cousin has a convenience store in London. She goes ahead and starts working for him. So she's learning everything. And I thought this episode was really funny when she's like, have a nice day. And they're like, don't say that. That's only Americans do that. And chuckle. It gets robbed and they both get shot. Unfortunately, they both go to the ER, and unfortunately the cousin dies. So here, this entire episode is grounded in the Doctor being very much like a wounded animal not that he's been wounded, his companion's been wounded. Somebody else has died. He can't help them. So and he doesn't have the TARDIS. He doesn't have a TARDIS screwdriver. He doesn't have any of the things that it's like he needs to have all these things to be able to fix something. And he can't help. So he throws himself into trying to find this person who the assailant who basically the robber. And there are parts where he gets his ego in the way, where he tries to tell cops of, hey, I'm a genius. I need to be doing this. And it's kind of funny because here Helen's trying to pull him away from the sergeant, or the DI, say, stop, please don't throw yourself in jail. And you could see where the detective inspector is being very kind to him and going, oh, okay, I see, you're a genius, so we can't do our jobs. All right, so what else can you bring to the table here? So there's a lot of that frustration that the Doctor's having, and he's going to go find he's going to go find the killer. And I'll let you kind of figure out how the story kind of goes along. And he really doesn't. And well, Scroll say it. He doesn't find them. And I think that to me, it's more about the frustrations that the Doctor realizes that he's in a real world. He can only affect what he can, just like the rest of us. And so to me, for a Doctor Who story, I kind of want more of that fun, timey-wimey space and seeing the Doctor being the Doctor. But on the flip side, it was amazing to watch the Doctor have these shackles on him of going, sorry, you're a normal person right now. Tough. And and you could see where he just feels like a wild animal. He's in a cage, and he makes the analogy. He's in a cage. He's in a space where he could live, he could breathe, he can keep going on and blah, 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 but it's not him. He's not in his element. So he's a wild animal that's caged. So that's great episode, but not as good as the first one, in my opinion.
Because of the Curator.
Because the Curator. One also had the box in the first one, made everyone get more tension, and everyone was just don't know why, which we'll play on later on when we listen to the other ones. But everyone was tense, and the alien object was making everybody just angry and wanted to beat her. This one, it was just that the tension came from the fact that he felt helpless, and even when he was trying to help, the cops caught the bad guy. It wasn't him. So it was a lot more about kind of psychological element of him having to cope.
Yeah. Dave, you gave it a little bit more of a half TARDIS there. You went.
I took the other half of Mackenzie's TARDIS.
Yeah, and you actually moved the goalposts to where it was better on this side. So why is this episode better than the first?
For all of the same reasons Melanie didn't like them. You've got it. His Doctor. Yeah, it's just a different viewpoint on the same things. He's got this, goes completely manic, trying to figure out what is happening, how he can do what he always does. He's the Doctor. He saves the day. He saves everybody. He does not save everybody.
Right.
There's especially the 8th Doctor. He has a huge heart. Like, he wears that huge heart on his sleeve, he just also has a huge ego, and both of those things are on open display. I start picturing Paul McGann as Sherlock.
Yes.
Benedict Cumberbatch,
It's
Sherlock, right down to the hair.
It's mentioned there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Baker Street,
Sherlock,
and that was not intentional. That was very intentional. That Baker Street, they're setting up that they're gonna do a Sherlock thing. Nah, and then just cut it off at the knees. And I just loved that that space god fall from grace. Because Christian always likes saying the space god moment. He can't have a space god moment. He wants that space god moment, and he just goes whoomp.
Now, keep in mind, I did rate it high, but to his point, him hacking into the system to be like, I want to know where the cops are going to be.
Right.
Accents there.
Yeah.
Like, sir, we can't do this.
That's good.
Yeah, exactly there. Well, if anybody wants to know my opinion,
not really.
You're gonna
have to get it after commercial.
We'll have to do it after commercial. When we return, please stay logged on, tuned in, become part of the legend.
Alien invaders enslave Earth,
unleashing hunters into the ruined wastes.
One young survivor struggles to elude their monsters, clinging to hope.
When he's stolen off the planet by a sarcastic starship AI, they pit their uneasy alliance against a treacherous galaxy.
Explore a whole new verse of barbarism and betrayal.
Wonder and adventure.
In the Scion series.
By Michael J. Allen.
Beginning with Book 1, Scion Conquered Earth.
Available in print, ebook, and audio on Amazon.com.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie Fleur, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
This is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Also catch us on the HWWS Web TV YouTube channel. Subscribe today and become part of the legend. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final segment of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS for our audio panel here. My name is Christian Basil. I'm here with Melanie Dean, Mackenzie Fleur, the Red One. You just saw her commercial for the Binge Watchers Guide. I can't do her voice the same way.
I'm so excited for the next part of that series of books.
Yeah, and I've already told the publisher, I'm like, can we split it into two? Because I really want to just do another edition of it with it together. I'm like, can we just do another book? Because I can probably write 100,000 words just on this book alone. There's so much to cover.
There you go. And we also have Dave from therathole.ca. Check him out. All of our Canadians, if you love board games, this man is your man over here. And anywhere in the world, therathole.ca. Well, it's my turn to give a rating for both Lost Property and Wild Animals.
Popcorn.
I've got, yeah, exactly. I don't want anybody to think that this is mean or rude or anyway, because I want to make sure I get this all straight. Shut it. Shut it out right now. Shut it out right now.
Nope.
Okay, I gave them both 7.5 stars. Now, here's the reason why. This is not really on the writing or acting or anything of that nature. It is exactly what Mackenzie mentioned and what Dave mentioned. They literally took the Doctor, dropped him in the middle of Coronation Street, and here you go for it. Here's a story right now. Or any of your favorite soap operas. They basically I understood the principle, why they did it. I think it's very original. I think it's very unique. I think it's an awesome idea. And I hated it just because of all the things that you guys had mentioned. I'm so used to a big finish being exciting and completely going full of energy. And just, the Doctor trying to go into one thing, some big finishes start off with high energy. It's going, it's moving. Everything is just going on all 8 cylinders and just moving along. Some big finishes, and they kind of teeter. There's a little bit of drama, but still, it's a Doctor Who. And for Stranded, it was hard for me to adapt to it. It literally was like watching a soap opera and somehow making the Doctor a part of that soap opera. So to start off with,
it doesn't sound like a 7.5, sir.
Let me give it a reason why 7.5. Because, like I said,
other people said 7.5. That wasn't what they said.
The stories aren't bad; they were actually good. I kind of like the originality of what they were trying to do. It was just that my head could not just process it. The 7.5 of the first part was because, yes, the Curator. I loved hearing Tom. And not only that, I loved hearing Tom screw with people.
Yes.
He was just right out there, just screwing with them. It's if he I know what's going on. I just want to make sure what happens here goes on. And it's kind of like, I don't know if there's even a comparison out there. He knows. We assume that he knows the people, he knows the situation, he knows what's going to happen. And it's almost like he's trying to revisit and relive it. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like saying to a friend, I can't tell you why I know you, but I know you and I know what happens here. We've had this moment. And it was just,
There's a line where I think it was Helen and she goes, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. And he goes, oh, I didn't throw it. I'm like, I'm like writing that down. I want that into my head. I need
I mean, if this is the Doctor that we think, or at least if this is a perception of the Doctor now, like I said, the floodgates are open, and being Doctor Who, we don't know if this is a chronological order, if it's a spin-off Doctor, if there's another Doctor, if there's a Doctor down the line. So anything can be an open season for the Curator. Mm-hmm. Any explanation? I hope they give a good explanation. That would be nice. But
I hope they never do.
Won't get one.
I hope they never do. Yeah.
If Tom Baker lives forever, I never want to know who the Curator is.
No,
I want him to screw with us for eternity.
I don't think we ever should. I think it's just like the Doctor, him or herself. We should not know too much about the Doctor. That's why it's called Doctor Who. We want the mystery and everything like that. But I do love Tom listening to screw with the people out there. And
Timeless Curator?
What's that?
The Timeless Curator.
Yeah, exactly. But
he even I mean, there's so many times where he even says, he's like, oh, as a curator, I've had an art or whatever it was installation. People lose things all the time. Umbrella, the brawlies, a raincoat, a hat, planets. Oh, did I say planets? I meant paintings.
Right. But you got to realize, if this is the perception that we're supposed to think of the Curator, he's already lived that life.
Yeah.
So I meant he's already got the knowledge. He already's been through the emotions. He's already been through the rigmarole. So it's almost like, I'm telling you a story that you shouldn't know yet, but I'll tell you a little bit about the story while you're going through the story there. It's almost like, in a weird way, he's the guy who's sitting next to you in the movie. Oh, I know what happens next. And then it's just like, but won't intentionally tell you, but he just sits there and goes, I know what happens. I know what happens. You're like, shut up. But he even becomes more mysterious when where he goes disappears. So, but I do kind of like I said, I do like the idea of what they're trying to do. I guess for a better term, have been I'm trying to find the term where it's just like you've just been used to it. That Stranded just kind of pulls you in a different direction, and it pulls you in a direction that I just don't like going, because it kind of slows it down. It takes the Doctor, grabs him, and says, "No, slow down." Because you have no TARDIS. You don't have what I heard in the they have the little bits in the after episodes where they were talking about it. His superpowers are gone. So what happens when the Doctor can't be the Doctor? What if you put him in a position he cannot be himself? And that's what's driving me nuts about the whole thing. It's just, I want him to
driving him nuts too.
And I think it's unique because the Doctor has always been in these situations. Every one of the Doctors have been in. 13 came in, didn't have a Sonic, and didn't have a TARDIS. So what did she do? So they've all been in different situations where 10, how many times did he was separated from the TARDIS and he was thinking, oh God, I'm going to get a mortgage. So it's interesting that it's this again. And how does this particular Doctor cope with it?
But it just reminds me of the time when I was watching Doctor Who when I was a kid. When I was watching Tom Baker, I was like, I don't care about the rest of this crap. I want to see the Doctor bring the Doctor back. What is he doing? And it's the same thing here. It's just like, okay, we're at the soap opera. There's a bit of gunplay and all this is happening. We're now understanding that he's got the neighbors and he's got this flat and everything. I was just like, I just remind myself that Ralphie and the kids, when he's trying to listen to Little Orphan Annie, he's going, don't give me all this jazz. Just bring the Doctor back to me. So that's why like I said, it's not that I didn't appreciate the story. It's not that I don't think they were going in a different direction and I don't appreciate it. It's just, it didn't just work with me. And that's not a fault of the writers, the actors, or anything of this nature. It's just that I guess I am so accustomed to Big Finish being the way that it is. When you get something like this, it's hard to just appreciate it for what it was. And I think, Dave, I think you mentioned that at one point I actually had to go back because there were so many neighbors and things going on that I actually had to rewind the episode and like, okay, where is this and who is this, and trying to,
at this point I'm still wondering who Tanya is, because she started talking to somebody.
Yeah, she started
reporting into something. So who is it?
Exactly.
And she's gonna have a date with Liz. Aw.
They had these little.
I have not listened to the second two. Just for the record, I have only listened to the first half.
I haven't either. We're gonna make it fresh.
When we decided we're just gonna do this, I didn't listen to the second two just so that I don't accidentally slip up and all that.
Good.
But yeah.
And the reason why I rated Wild Animals 7.5, I think one of the things that I always find the line or the moment that always defines what's going on at that time. And I think I won't, spoiler alert, the zoo part, I think was the moment. That zoo thing at the very... I just like, what happened? There's something for you. All these birds were let loose over at the zoo next door. Don't you want to check it out? No,
I'm good. I'm good. It was like when he was looking at the when he was also trying to figure out, there was stranger. There was reportings of a man lurking about and and then I realized, that's me. That was reporting on him.
That was a beautiful one.
I kept thinking with those birds, I'm like, okay, did he do that, or was that the creator?
We don't need to know. We just know that it happened. Yeah. It's one of those things like just let that slide. We know, but we don't need descriptions about that, which makes one of the reasons why Doctor Who is so cool. There were some beautiful moments in the second episode of Wild Animals with the robbery, with Liv getting shot, the scene with Liv being in the hospital and Tanya finally coming in and getting all her strength and finally doing what she wanted to do for the longest time. It was kind of getting probey. Are you in the Doctor? Are you and Helen? Is Helen in the Doctor? I'm just like, oh, you're just gonna spit it out. Here we go.
Yeah.
She was being careful.
No, that's fine. We know
it doesn't clue in.
Yeah,
so, exactly.
Exactly.
There.
Why do you care?
One of the great moments is the moments between in the hospital where Liv and Tanya finally comes in and asks her. And I do love Liv's response. And I want to make sure I package it this way so that nobody takes offense to my response. I like Liv's response because it wasn't because Tanya was like awaiting this response that she thought it would be negative. But Liv's like, okay, Well, I just told you something bad. No.
Well, I
you
think it
didn't.
takes also to her character of being from elsewhere and in the future,
Right.
where it's that's not an issue. We're
Right.
good.
And, but
you want
I-
to go date with me in your trans? That's cool.
Right. And
Let's do it. Dinner. Cool.
I think that's just something that we all. I don't think I have time to go into. I didn't want to make it a too much of a thing, but I think that's just something that we all aspire to be. It's just like, it's not. I don't want to say it's not a big deal, because I could understand where Tanya was coming from, but I also said where Liv was coming from. It's just like, it's not a big deal.
I like that Doctor Who keeps pushing that in the future. This is not a big deal. So you have River Song, you have Jack Harkness, and now you have Liv, who's Liv or Liz. Now my brain's not working. Also from the future, where they realize, look, we live now, and we're going to get to that point where it's not a problem. Thank God.
Or it's just the way she is. It's just like, it doesn't faze me about what you do behind a closed door, or what, who you like. And I usually tell that about, I wrote that somewhere a long time ago on my own personal Facebook page. And it said, my friends are not my friends because of their popularity or anything. My friends are my friends because I found the best in them. Mm-hmm. And that's why they are my friends. And I think if you go from that line, there's nothing else that's important. It doesn't matter anything, gender, what you do in the bedroom, what goes on in your life. It's because I found the best in you. That's why I have the friends that I have. That's why I have the people on here. I found the best of everybody and invited you all here. And I think it brings a very big, diverse, wonderful discussion of the show. Mm-hmm. So that's why everybody's my friend, because I see the best in you, and it's wonderful, and nothing else, and nothing to me else matters at that point. I hope I packaged that right. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to make sure I got what I wanted to say right. I didn't want to come off like negative, but I'm hoping that's what it was. But I'm only saying this in as far as the pacing is concerned. It became, for me, too much soap opera, less Doctor. And I wanted more Doctor. And I hated the fact that the Doctor was being pulled down. But that was the challenge, Melanie. That was the thing, where the story was, the Doctor can't be the Doctor. So what happens to the Doctor when the Doctor can't be the Doctor? And I think that it wasn't that the story was bad or anything. It was just like, I think that wasn't something I was ready to accept in this story yet. But as we get further into episode 3 and 4, I think that I'm hoping that everything works out and I can understand and appreciate the story better. But with the first 2 episodes, it was kind of hard. Hello, Lee. How you doing there? Lee Anthony Davis. Thank you for joining us out there. So we're at the final hour of our show, as far as Wizard World and our Wizard World, but of our audio friends. Does anybody have any last minute messages or anything that they want to say before we end the show?
We are going to be doing the second 2 episodes of this next week. Next week. So everybody has a week to go over to Big Finish, pick up Stranded 1. Mm-hmm. 1, because there is 2. Stranded 1. And listen to, well, now you have to listen to all 4, because the 2 we just did and the 2 we're going to do next week.
It's awesome. It's an awesome. Easy.
It really is.
It's like 30. I think it's a $30 one right now, because I want to say it's $30 if you go through Big Finish, US. However,
$29.99 if you get the download.
And the great thing is also with this particular set is that at the end of each one, I want to say it's like 15 or 20 minutes of content of just interviews with the actors, with the cast and the crew, the writers, everybody, kind of give you a little bit more of what they brought to the table when they read their scripts, what they wanted to bring up, blah 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 blah. So you're getting a lot of you're getting additional content on top of it. So.
Gotcha. And again, just to say goodbye to our friends on the audio, when you get a chance, go and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We are almost there to our 1,000 goal. And last time I checked, it was 888, which I thought was a cool number. odd number for an even number. So thank you again for joining us. For those of you who are going to stick around, please do. We're going to continue into our after party. Please continue to stay safe. Wash your hands. And you know what? We'll see you around when this is all over, because we want to see you guys out there. We want to geek out with you, because I need a lot of hugs from a lot of people. And I know they're going to give me those hugs, and I want them. So thank you all. Love to you all. And please stay safe and always become part of the legend. Yep.
At the party.
You realize that when I get down to Florida, I'm going to walk right past you, Christian, and give Melanie a big hug.
That's fine. I don't care.
just right past
Give her a hug.
Thank you.
Give her a hug.
No touchy. No touchy.
Aw.
Sorry.
Feelings.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
but you can walk right past me and go get your COVID shot, because you'll probably be able to come down here and get your shot.
I probably won't be able to come. Yeah, no, it's getting to a point where I'll almost get to. Rollout here in Alberta has not been smooth.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, certain states.
I'll have a shot before I can get down there.
There's people that I know that are like in like Virginia and other states that are kind of just looking to go to another state to get their shot. I got my first shot yesterday.
Hey.
Yo.
Yay.
Yay. I'm still here. I am now full of nanobots and can connect to 5G. When I woke up this morning, I now have Windows 10 downloaded in me, so we're good.
Ooh.
I don't know if you know about SC. I know you're in games, Mackenzie and Dave, but I've started watching videos called the SCP series. Oh my God, it's intense. Well, it's basically, I don't know if you ever watch gamers. They play Markiplier and Joseph, the guy. They play something called SCP, which is Secure, Contain, and Protect. And they have all those numbered SCPs, and they're just bizarre. There's like one simple one where it's like a weeping angel. You have to keep your eyes on it the whole time, and you actually do have a blink sensor when you're walking in the game. So if you blink, that thing either gets close to you or kills you. So things like that. But then there's like these stories of other SCPs that are just like monumental, like huge titans and stuff like that. So it's an interesting game. The only reason why I brought it up was, oh God, I don't even know why I brought it up.
I don't know either. I'm like, what game is that? And yeah,
it's
Dan
an
and his
awesome
wife.
Game. Yay, Dan. Congratulations.
Yay.
Woo-hoo.
The way you described it kind of reminded me a little
Bye,
bit
Carl.
of
Thanks for joining us.
Daylight, which I would love to have a Weeping Angel in Dead by Daylight, but I'm sure it would be very difficult, because in Dead by Daylight, you either play as the survivor or you play as the killer. And considering the angel, you can't really die to an angel, get thrown back in time. But I would love to see a Dalek exterminate people. That would be fun.
Oh my God. So you are Dalek. So you can actually be the good guy or the bad guy.
Yeah, you could be the good guy or the bad guy. Yeah,
I think they have a Slenderman version of that game. Remember, you can be either Slenderman or the people that are running around. Or am I just going to we're a Doctor Who podcast, so sorry.
I am completely lost.
Completely.
I'm just gonna go down here.
Tabletop.
Oh, someone said tabletop. I'm back. Hi.
There you go.
Doctor Who stuff. Yes. Worlds Apart. Yes. Lonely Assassins. Tabletop games. Flux. Stay on brand, Christian.
I know.
I really need to put a video together about Lonely Assassins. I made the mistake of trying to play it in the evening.
Oh.
Before bed.
Sir, that was a monumental mistake.
No, you don't
do that, people. Don't.
They were the makers of Simacare or something, or something Sarah, something Lost Sarah. Finding Sarah. Oh gosh, it's been a while. Sorry, God. I think. But they
several games.
Yeah,
several games.
Well, two of the games was basically you use your cell phone to play. That's the only way you can play. And the cell phone becomes like a character in the thing, because it does all these things. The apps become your game board, because now you have to go through search. You have to search pictures. You have to search messages and stuff like that. And sometimes your cell phone just wants to throw in a few jump scares just to make sure you're awake there.
you can see it coming. It's like, oh no, I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew that was gonna happen. Why did it?
Yeah, exactly. No, some of them they actually just throw out there, just like don't even surprise you, or they do that thing where they'll have a face like this, and then there'll be a pixels, and then what was it? The one game where it was just like the girl's face, and then all of a sudden you see the girl's face start to deteriorate through the pixels, and she actually looks to start to turn evil, and you're just like, what the hell is going on with this? I can't.
Yeah.
So,
it's a hard game to review, and Mackenzie wanted to stream it, so I think you probably have figured this out.
I'm going to find a way.
You can't do it because you're going to spoil everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story.
Yeah.
How?
What could we play it on here? Just like one afternoon where we have plenty of time and we just run right through. I wish we could just hook it up and play
We could,
it.
but again, it would spoil it for everybody else. That's the problem.
We tell people that we're playing the game, and they're just like, if you're watching this, spoilers, we're going to be playing the game.
And the nice thing is there are changes. Like if decisions you make do impact what happens.
Yes. Exactly.
But
Chris,
at the end of the day,
you were thinking Sarah is missing and Simulacra.
And Sarah's missing. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Combining the two in one.
Yeah, if you ever play those games on your cell phone, don't do it in the middle of the night. Don't do it when there's noises around in the middle of the night. Don't do it at all unless you are in a well-lit area, and just be prepared for jump scares. Don't be drinking coffee at the same time.
Or do it if you're like me and you're a horror freak and you go into Jason Masali's Twitch and you are already prepared for those jump scares because of the scare bits. He's trained me already.
The angels have always messed with my head, so
that
I should have known better.
You fool!
Exactly.
Yes.
I don't know why I thought about this for a while, because our Universal has finally said that they were going to bring back Halloween Horror Nights, and they already said they're doing Beetlejuice. I think it's the first house there. I've always argued that Doctor Who should be a house.
Yes.
There's no way you can get out. Why?
No.
What,
For
Doctor
that
Who
property to go ahead and fully align it into a house, you're going to draw the wrong crowd to get in there and get scared. You're gonna have fools bring their kids into a haunted house of Doctor Who.
Have you seen the people who go to Halloween? I've seen strollers all over the place.
Oh, yes, I know. I am fully
strollers.
aware. I busted open my knee on a stroller because some fool thought it was smart to bring their 2-year-old to Halloween Horror Nights. Tripped me and I hit the ground hard. Yeah, I have a personal vendetta against those fools.
I don't know. I was like, at one point, I'm just like, okay, I'm not a parent, so why should I tell this parent, especially if I don't have kids, why they should bring him to you? They shouldn't be bringing them tonight. And it was just like, well, we can't get a babysitter. Okay. So you want to give them therapy for the rest of their life. I mean, who am I to talk? I just like, does even the kid know? I was like, I don't remember 2 or 3 years old, with stuff that's gone around, around my head. But it's just like,
I remember when Gremlins creeped me out as a kid.
Thank you.
Gremlins.
Anybody?
Oh, this is a comedy. I think I watched it at the library at a kid's day.
It's only comedy because Howie Mandel is a star.
The Black Cauldron gave kids so many nightmares that Disney pulled that from theatrical release, and that was the Black Cauldron. No.
Mm-hmm. The Black Cauldron. Black Hole gave me nightmares for crying out loud.
Black Hole wasn't made for kids.
No, I know, but it was just like, it's Disney. So
yeah, I'm just saying, is Doctor Who licensing going to be like, yeah, you want to make this into a haunted house? Sure.
Kids aside,
though. The doctor's rescuing you. No.
Kids aside, Christian's right. If you could just prevent kids that shouldn't be there from being there, it would be a hell of a haunted house.
Especially if they got the person that was the weeping angel, and I want to say was that Confusion that scared the living daylights out of me and a bunch of other people. She was fantastic. I was dressed up as a doctor, and I was actually vending, and she snuck up from a corner. And I was looking down at I think I was looking down at my laptop or something. And I looked up, I'm like, oh, and everybody else was like, what's going on? I'm like, corner, and everyone's like, oh.
There was one haunted house, I'm trying to remember it, but you could swear that they borrowed from Doctor Who on the Weeping Angels, but it took place in the cathedral, and there were moving statues and stuff like that, and they'll be off and on, and just like, I think it was the closest thing that they had to Weeping Angels without actually putting Weeping Angels in there. But it was just terrifying, and I was just like, I literally kept my eye. I'm like, I'm not blinking. I don't care. I'm putting toothpicks in this damn thing, and I have to go through this. But I'm just like, even just having some similarities to that, I'm just like, no, I'm not taking my chance.
Just make it Luigi's Mansion.
But it was huge. They had like a cathedral. It looked like it was a 2-story thing going down out there. It was just amazing. I was just like, oh my God, this is going to scare everybody.
Go to sleep, sir.
Go to sleep.
Hey, Martin, we'll talk to you soon for sure.
It's 3 a.m. somewhere right there where you're at or something like that.
Yes, talk very soon. Need you back.
Good night. Or yeah, definitely. And you know what? I've almost forgot. I'll make this announcement because we're pretty much locked in. Not next weekend, not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, the return of Yi Cho. And we're going to start our lineup. We haven't got a lot of confirmation yet, but we are going to be talking about the 25th anniversary. Yiji's going to mention a new product that he's got, and I won't say anything else. I want to make sure I get everything locked in, but we can confirm that Yi Cho will be in 2 weeks, returning here talking about Chang Li 25 years later. I believe it was May something. I can't remember the actual date, but it'll be the 25th anniversary of The Enemy Within the TV movie starring Paul McGann. And God, I wish he had a series. All this thing.
He does. It's on Big Finish. It's called Stranded.
No, I want visual.
Yeah, it's got a whole. Yeah. Oh, that was called Night of the Doctor.
Melanie can see the audio of Tom Baker.
Exactly.
If you wanted to see the caretaker or the.
You ever read a book?
Yeah, fair. There you go. No, I don't know how to read.
I don't know what that is.
What
a book. What a book.
Why it work?
I don't understand.
It doesn't work. It's not the same. I have to have his voice and his features out there. Oh, good God. Okay. Well, for those of you who are with us,
we're sorry.
Yeah, right.
We're not sorry. Shut up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Don't forget, for those of you on the Wizard World Facebook page, like us over at the Facebook page at The Traveling TARDIS. We just soared over 51,000 subscribers. And if you are somebody who follows this stuff, I think we're going up to 54,000 subscribers out there. Check out our website, thelegendofthetravelingtardis.com. All of our friends over at The Traveling TARDIS go over to the Wizard World, facebook.com /Wizard World, and check out their Moich Wizard World Vault.com.
Lots of Doctor Who signed stuff there, y'all. Lots of stuff. You have doctors, you have companions, you have everything. Funko Pop signed, headshots, all that kind of fun stuff.
Exactly. There.
Also, the dates for your first broadcast for the Doctor Who movie was Canada got it first on May 12th. The US got it on May 14th. And the UK got it on the 27th of May. All of that in the year of the Lord, 1996.
I feel bad that the UK actually got it in last. Their own TV show.
We got it first. We got it first.
It was produced here. That's why.
You had it. Oh, well. I remember I didn't even know that it was here in the States. I caught it. I remember I was watching Fox. And I was up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and all of a sudden this commercial came out. They had back then the Fox Tuesday night movie, and they were listing all the movies that they had. And all of a sudden you saw Doctor Who, and it was basically for like 5 seconds. And for whatever reason, they used the scene from Trial of the Time Lord where the TARDIS is going into the trial room ship as the intro, and then all you saw was Paul McGann pushing against the plate glass window where his hand's going through, and that was it. That was all that you saw. And I literally had to, like, I set up a VCR tape to record just, I'm like, I got to see if this is for real. How did this happen? And surely enough, it was real. And I found
Christian
out.
wondering, am I having a fever dream?
I was just like, what, Doctor Who? And then all of a sudden the ads started coming up, and they were, I couldn't at first accept that Eric Roberts was the master. I was like, how? Oh, okay. I guess it's a thing now.
Still can't accept that, but that's
but it wasn't.
It works. I mean,
it works.
Anti on it, but I'm just like, really? That's where you went with the casting?
I just like, how did that even?
Like, okay, how did
anybody?
America.
And I remember somebody had mentioned there's actually
it's awesome,
an article that 2 of the actors who were going to be in Doctor, who eventually ended up being the 9th and the 12th Doctor, actually auditioned. And I don't know if Christopher Eccleston didn't get it, but actually Peter Capaldi turned it down because he didn't think he was right for the role. He literally just turned it down, thinking like he wasn't popular enough.
How dare he?
I was just like, that would have been interesting.
I would have loved it.
I would have loved it too. So,
where are we going with this episode? It's all
it's all over the place.
We keep picking
like
back up to a good conversation.
I know we could, but
well, if you guys
devolves into
you guys got 10 minutes. If you want to ask us anything, by all means, go for it out there. Suicide Squad, he's going to be in it. Somebody actually took out the prongs in his head, put sonic screwdrivers, so I posted that up on the Traveling TARDIS. I just thought that was just weird, and I said, I'll post it. That's cool. But the first trailer that they had, I guess the movie trailer, they have different types of trailers now. One of them is the TV trailer, and the one there's another. They have different names. So the first trailer, all you see is Peter standing there with all 3 characters walking past him, berating him. I want an entire series. Everybody does. Everybody does that. Everybody.
I would
does.
love if they just go ahead and just do the backwards regeneration of the next one. Is we get his series, like
don't even backwards regenerate. Just drop us into
back into prequel land.
Yeah.
Why not? Do it, you cowards! Do it, BBC.
Well, what was it? I mentioned on a previous episode, the one that we were predicting the 14th Doctor, and I said, wouldn't it have been cool instead of it? I'll just recap what I said. It was you see Jodie standing there, and she's whatever happened to her, she starts regenerating, and then all of a sudden it goes blank. So we know she's regenerating, and all of a sudden you cut to a scene where you can hear a war going on in the background, and essentially you just hear explosions, and you hear guys walking on rocks, and you hear in the darkness somebody saying, where is he gone? And he goes, we're looking for the Doctor. And surely enough, these guys walk up, find this tarp, pull the tarp back, and it goes, there he is, and it's Paul McGann, and he's all beaten and bloodied up because it looks like he's been through something. And the 2 guys look at each other, goes, what are we going to do with him? He goes, let's take him. One of them takes the piece of the back of the rifle and hits him over the head, and that's it. That's the end of it. So it's like, we know that the Doctor regenerates the 14, but we get this little small appetizer of the 8th Doctor, and somehow or another the 8th Doctor and the 14th Doctor are going to come in together. So their stories are going to run together somehow as we're moving and progressing in. So we give Paul McGann 3 seasons of Doctor Who, so we can flesh him out and give more attention to the Time War, what happened during the Time War, because that story is going to ride into what's going to happen to the 14th Doctor. So
I would personally love because that would be amazing, but I'm in touch. I don't say in touch of a reality, but I'm hoping that they utilize him for the 60th. That's where I'm really utilize them there, and then use that as your test case to see if people really dig it and go, look, see now you can do something with him, please.
I don't even think they need a test. I think they know that people would want to watch him. I think I don't even have it down in my mind that they would want a series.
How popular was just that 10-minute little Night of the Doctor?
The Night of the Doctor. Everybody went.
It's 10 years ago. Almost.
Hmm.
That's the only thing. It's almost 10 years. So I would love that if they could utilize them in the 60th a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I know we're not going to see 9 come back to do anything. So it'd be kind of neat if they could at least maybe even go further back and go to 8, which I think would be fun. Please, 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 please.
Or something happens in the 60th, like the Time War with the War Doctor. Something about the 8th Doctor, a decision made again, and it affects what's going on in the future somehow. So, and then all the Doctors come together as one.
I would love to see Jodie and Paul. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just would love to see the two of those two Doctors just playing on one another. I think that would just be absolutely fantastic.
I want to see them recast 3, and I specifically want it to be Sean Pertwee.
That would be amazing. He looks so much like his father.
He's cosplayed his father at a convention. Sent a picture to his mother. I don't remember this picture of your father.
What's that, Graham? If a weeping angel touched the Doctor, what would happen? Would Jodie go back to revert regeneration there?
This, do it, you cowards! I will pay. Where's money? I will. How do I send it to you, BBC? Gimme. See, even Dan's on board. We're ready to go.
Yep.
Well, I love the fact that Christopher Eccleston's now doing Big Finish. Could you hear the audios now?
I can't wait.
Of crossover Doctors, 9 with 8, 9 with 6.
Big Finish has no problem doing
But
that.
I don't think they have a problem. I think they just need to convince them. It's just like, well, we're doing 60th anniversary ourselves, because they did what was it, the light at the end for the 50th anniversary, their 50th anniversary. I'm pretty much sure for the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. They did their own special, which involved all the Doctors. And I think that was Light at the End, if I'm not mistaken, there.
Yeah.
Which had all the Doctors from 1 to 8. But that would be so cool if they could add David, if they could add Chris, if somehow they could. Well, I'm sure Matt's busy.
Yeah.
I know he's got Game of Thrones going, so that's going to.
Yeah, he's got his prequel working.
But I'm sure they could probably recruit Peter Capaldi.
I mean, and the nice thing with it being audio, you got 10 minutes, set up your trailer on set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how they're doing it right now, basically.
That's where necessity kind of bred the invention of going, okay, who wants to get into voice stuff? Come on, you can do it. Yeah. Get your rigs. Cover your entire walls and curtains.
Honestly, it's going backwards for that. When I was still producing audio drama, I had one person in the room with me. Any of the shows I produced. One. Everything else was all recorded remotely and then edited together.
If you saw Doctor Who Velocity, the Tron episode, which is the most recent one, if I'm not mistaken, and then Crystal, you can correct me on this, none of the actors were in the room together. None of them. And the way they juxtaposed it is that they look like they're all interacting with each other, and they had a Tron spin on it, which I thought was cool. So you see the Doctor in a light cycle. So, I was like, the interesting part about this is we are coming up with creative ways to get around things, and God forbid we ever stumble along this way. But I think we've learned a lot now. If there is God, please don't do this, but if there is ever a second coming, we know where to default back. And we already, we can just say, oh, okay, well, everybody stay home. Here's how we're going to set things up out there. And this is what we're going to do until everything clears over. So we're learning. I don't know if we're learning well, but we're learning.
Yeah. Right.
So, well.
Sorry, I'm on Doctor Who Worlds Apart. I'm looking at packs. I'm no longer even.
Okay, don't go. Wait, wait. Are you gonna? If you're gonna do that, hang on. You're gonna do that.
Can't hear you.
Good night.
So, thank you very much for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
We've already lost Christian. We've already lost Melanie. They're busy doing the Worlds Apart thing. And Melanie's just straight up gone.
We are going to this route.
We only got 50 seconds left anyway.
Just push the button, Frank.
Wizard World, if you'd like, it just,
Yeah, they're going to tell us, this was your content that you had for a half hour. You're not doing this anymore. You're like, this was horrible.
Yeah.
People
This was
dropping like
this was
flies.
amazingly horrible.
There you go.
Oh.
We don't need to see what cards you have, Christian.
Oh, we do.
We need you to push a button because we got to end. You got 25 seconds.
Oh, good grief.
Sir.
Well, everybody, thank you for joining us again. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being with us throughout all this. Again, we're going to be doing the second part of the 2-part episodes, Must See TV and Divine Intervention, to wrap up Stranded 1 next week. The following week will be Yi Cho, and God only knows what we're going to do next. So again, thank you all. Please stay safe out there. Appreciate everything that you've done for us. Thank you. 51,000 likes. We'll be back. Take care of yourselves and always become part of the legend.